I gotta do my vocal warm-up exercises. But you're like yellow lorry, yellow lorry, yellow lorry, yellow lorry. Alright. Hello and welcome to And Everything in Between, the gaming podcast where we talk about the gaming industry and everything in between. And I'm joined here by my regular host, Tony.
Hey, that's me.
And I have completely fucked up the intro, but we're going to carry on anyway.
Just plow
through
through
it
it.
Differently this time.
It's fine. It's still synced up. Just carry on.
Yeah. So what have you been playing or watching this week, Tony?
Just thinking about this before the podcast started, and I've realised I'm a bit all over the place this week. Been a revision week mainly, but I've just been doing something different every day almost. Yeah. As you know, yesterday.
Revising dank memes.
Dank memes, yeah. Yesterday though, it was D&D day. That went on until like really late. I haven't really been playing other games other than just like an odd few things. I won't go into detail, but I did play Planetary Annihilation again this week. You remember that game?
Oh, what? Yeah, I remember I actually own Planetary Annihilation, and we will be talking about RTSs later in the show, but I absolutely hate real-time strategy. I cannot stand it.
I have to say, since I last played it, they've changed the UI to a degree where it's actually fun to like control stuff around and actually move stuff. Like before, when Planetary Annihilation first came out, the UI was so terrible. Like the chromacast feature has, which is like a little camera, like UI thing they have, which is really useful. But that's about the only thing they had. Then the Titans expansion came out, which I got for free because I backed it. They changed the UI again, but it still was a bit clunky. Now they've made it so you can just like select all like certain types of units that you can see on your screen, which is really useful.
It's pretty good. Yeah, but we all know the only good RTSs were Warcraft 3 and Age of Empires.
Yeah. Sorry,
you know,
it's a terrible RTS. Was I thinking?
Yeah,
that's pretty much what I've been doing.
What did I expect? What have you been doing this week? So, this week, Minecraft, modern Minecraft, of course. Devon is a place on Earth. Listener of Rise.
Great mod pack.
Been doing Railcraft. Actually, recently, I have been playing around with high-speed rails for Railcraft, and after a little bit of explosions, I have actually set them up and got a launcher rail going. So, yeah, that's pretty fun. But I had Andy round the other day. He was also on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. And I showed him the Oculus Rift that I have. So we were using that, and that was pretty fun. One of the best games we played on, which is my personal favourite tech demo for VR that I've ever used, is called You Will Probably Die. It's not called You Will Probably Die, so I always call it that.
I thought it's like You Will Die. Or...
It's something like that. But it's like the number one game on the Oculus.
Okay, so it's quite popular then.
But, so what it is so for anyone that doesn't know, with the Oculus Rift, you can move your head around, but you can't really walk around like the Vive sort of thing. So I haven't tried the Vive personally, but I will be trying one when it's released in the UK. My brother has an order down for one, so we will be trying it. And one thing with the Oculus is as soon as you move around and you're sat down, you get a lot of motion sickness. This is something I've found personally in VR, is movement can make you really sick really quickly. And it's not just me, a lot of people have experienced this. So that's one thing that I'm not too happy about the Oculus. But the best experience I had, which is coming back to this game, was that this is a seated experience. So it's kind of a puzzle game where you're basically a secret agent, and you go into your nemesis's car, and you have to drive it out of this plane because it's got a parachute on it, and the plane's filling with gas. So you have to try and defuse the evil traps that he's left in the car to kind of drive the car out of the plane and escape. And it's really fun because essentially you're just looking around this car and you're picking up things and you're using them. It feels really fluid to use the mouse, and you can zoom things closer into your eyes, because one of the other problems I have with the eyes, it's really hard to read things unless they're really close to your eyes.
Is that because it is a dev kit though, and it's got a lower resolution than what they actually want for the main commercial variant?
It's the dev kit too,
Okay.
So I don't think it's too far off
No.
the actual Oculus. They may have increased the resolution, but I think the main difference was the you actually have headphones on the Rift, and it comes with the controller. Which I will say, at first I was like, "What's the point of this?" But after using a Rift for a while, I'm going like, "Right, take headphones off, put headset on. Shit, I need to change this option." And it seems like you don't really need it, but it is quite useful to have headphones actually attached to the Rift. The most useful thing would eventually to have a wireless headset. Make the Rift itself. You don't have to have it plugged in. It would make it really useful. But yeah, that was the best game we played. We also played. Sorry.
I was saying, before you move on to the next game, like I did watch like a video of that game. Like watching it like on a YouTube video, it doesn't seem to like give you the experience at all. Like it seemed pretty dull from my point of view.
Oh, you have to try.
Yeah. I was thinking, I'm pretty sure you have to try this. It's #1 most popular tech demo. So
like watching videos of VR is nothing compared to the actual experience.
I can definitely imagine.
You cannot get a sense for it. Like watching someone walk down a hallway, just watching it's like, okay, that seems fine, and then you do it yourself, and you're like, okay. Where are my hands? I feel motion sick. But also there's this game called 8 something. It's like a time, and basically what it is it's a 9/11 simulator. So what happens is it's meant to be for like educational purposes. What they do is they put you in the World Trade Center in virtual reality, and you get to experience firsthand. You go into the World Trade Center and you see the planes coming into the towers, and it destroys the towers, and that's like the educational little VR experience. And it was really strange. Like I didn't see explosions at the base of the tower because I was there at 9/11.
Yeah, you were there.
But
conspiracy theorists be damned.
I don't know. I'm not really sure why that was on there. I thought it'd be funny to try out, just to see what it was like. The models weren't that great. It was pretty low resolution. Someone had made it themselves by the looks of it, and that was kind of what we did in VR. I did try and get Subnautica up, because when I did it initially, I went on Subnautica, and that had like a proper VR setup, and that was quite sickening, I'll say. Because I showed Andy seated experiences, but I wanted to show him what it was like when you move around, because it's a lot better to get a sense of whether you would actually want to buy a Rift if you don't have them play the most comfortable games, because that's what I'd done to Andy so far. Because as soon as you give them the uncomfortable games, that they'll think, oh, I want to play these, they might be a bit dissuaded with putting in such an expensive purchase.
So he plays Subnautica,
if that's what they want to use it for. No, he didn't play Subnautica because I couldn't get the VR set up for it. I don't know what was going on. I played it and I was like, oh god, I feel sick. They updated it, and then it wasn't really working, and I couldn't really set it up, so we kind of just missed that one. But as well as VR and a bit of Railcraft, I put out a video this week. So I played 3 games over this weekend. If you look at the date of the video, it's April 16th. So when you're watching this video in December of 2017, you'll be able to see how long ago that was. But I played the Doom beta, so I'll talk about that very quickly first. If you want to see the whole thing, watch the video. You can give me some money. But basically what happened with Doom, I really enjoyed the Doom, but I know a lot of people.
It looks really good.
A lot of people have criticised it, and it's got a lot of negative reviews.
What do people not like about it?
People really don't like it. They don't like how weak some of the guns feels. Now, when I played it, they felt a lot punchier than a lot of like modern shooters, like your Call of Duties and stuff. But definitely, you could take like 3 to 4 shotgun shots. You could take like 3 to 4 rocket shots, and I was okay with that because there wasn't like regenerating health. You actually had to get health kits, so taking a couple of shots with a shotgun could actually put you in a spot where you just die to like a really weak gun anyway. So I was okay with that. A lot of people were complaining that it wasn't true to the original. I don't think the criticism was really that fair.
No,
I
because
think it was
do they want
good.
them to copy the original? Because they can already play the original, surely. This is like a
Well,
based on the original.
what they wanted it to do was they wanted it to be more like a Quake or an Unreal Tournament, which it was
Yeah.
closer to than a modern FPS, which I was happy about. I did say some of the elements I didn't like about it, but I don't think the criticisms it got were fair. I also played Tom Clancy's Siege 6, really good game, really fun, and Battleborn, didn't enjoy that one. It was such a shame because I really love Borderlands, and it just wasn't anything like Borderlands. The bosses were bullet spongy, the characters weren't that unique or funny.
You said
I
that
could
there
still
was no randomized drops either.
No, it's like a MOBA.
Yeah.
Like, I could still see some of the humor in the characters. Like, the first boss was really funny, and it's such a shame because it's going to be $60, and I don't think anyone's going to buy it. Like, I in my review, I actually just said I'd recommend buying Borderlands 2 Game of the Year edition over this game because that's way more of a better experience. But that's what I've been playing this week. So we'll move on to the first topic, which is the biggest WoW private server being shut down in Nostalrius. So I'll kind of take the lead on this quickly because I actually played on Nostalrius before it was shut down. So I got recommended Nostalrius by a friend. We were long-time WoW players. We've always been. I'm a huge WoW fan. So I was really excited by this. I'd only ever played on Wrath of the Lich King private servers up to this point, but the problem is the Wrath of the Lich King private servers where nobody really played on them, even though I consider it to be the best expansion. I'd really love to have a WoW private server be populated like Nostalrius was and supported like Nostalrius was. And this server was just really good. There was tens of thousands of people playing on it, so you don't get the same problem with other private servers where you couldn't do events and dungeons and raids and stuff because you didn't have enough people. There was plenty of people playing. Like, there was actually more people in the starting zone on Nostalrius than there was in like retail World of Warcraft. It was insane. Like, you actually had to wait for mobs to respawn because so many people were playing on this. It was really weird because when I played on the original vanilla, there wasn't as many people. Like,
no. It was a while ago it came out, wasn't it?
I really enjoyed the experience because where at retail this day you can literally get to like level 100 in a day. You can buy level 100, or you can literally heirlooms 300% pot, and you just go straight to level 100 in like a day or so. And I know some big people have been speaking about this as well. Like Sodapop made a video recently. He's a bit controversial in the scenes. I used to be a fan of his. I kind of not so much anymore since some of the stuff he said on stream and other nights. But people like John Tron have come out and said that they're really against Blizzard doing this. So what happened was Nostalrius got sued by Activision Blizzard, and they basically said, take the server down or we're going to sue you. So they were forced to. And it wasn't like... So most private servers, they usually have pay to get extra items, pay to become stronger than everyone else. Nostalrius didn't take any... There was no in-game store, there was nothing. They literally did this out of love for the game. They coded the original vanilla code themselves and were running it on their own servers and facilitating it just for the fans. They were taking like a tiny bit of donations to keep the server running and nothing else. There was no profit being made on this. And Blizzard basically came down with the fucking sue hammer and just said fuck you to a lot of fans who were playing on this because they didn't want to play Wars and Draenor.
The sue hammer?
Yeah, it's the fuck you hammer, basically.
Yeah.
They basically said, you know, you really love World of Warcraft. You think you do, but you don't. You know, you're not.
Oh yeah.
You don't actually want to play vanilla when they do. So, what are your thoughts about this?
My initial thoughts are I don't actually understand why they're doing this. Like we speculated that maybe they're doing their own private servers of different expansions.
So one of the biggest reasons they would take down Nostalrius was that they were planning on doing this themselves.
Yeah.
But they haven't said anything that would lead us to believe they were. They've been very against
as of now
having their own vanilla servers. that they've always said in the past, you think you want vanilla servers, but you don't. They've been very against it, even though the fans have shown huge support, especially with Nostalrius. They can see the number of people who want to play this. And one of the... Go on.
No, you finish. I probably be able to lead on from that.
I was going to say, one of the Blizzard's biggest defences is we don't have the original code for vanilla anymore. We don't actually have the original assets and stuff for the vanilla that stuff like Nostalrius had. Why didn't you just buy out Nostalrius and use them to build a official Blizzard vanilla procedural server and use them, support the people who are making people want to play your game again, instead of suing them? Like, this is such a carrot and stick situation where Blizzard went full stick.
I was gonna say, like, I don't think, like, I'm not, maybe, like, I don't know if that's like a joke for them coming out with like, we don't have the code anymore. Maybe they don't have the code, but to me, like, this is in JonTron's video as well. Like, he kind of like suggested like maybe they're doing it because like they think they're losing money from people instead of like paying for retail subscription.
Yeah.
And buying the new expansion, they're just going straight to the vanilla private servers.
So it is true that a lot of people weren't subscribed to Warlords of Draenor. But what the fuck did you expect?
It was a Facebook game.
They released an unfinished expansion. Okay, so I played Warlords of Draenor, and for about a month it was fun because the game was it had some content, and then you went into it and you're like, all right, what do I do now? And they just stopped supporting the game. They added nothing to it. There was garrisons. It was basically like just wait for a couple of days and then you can do something and then you can log off again. It was so boring. Like, nobody's gonna want to play your game when it's this garbage.
It was pretty bad.
They were scared that if they did vanilla servers, that the people wouldn't play the new expansion that's coming out, the Legion expansion. Well, you haven't given us any faith that it's actually going to be good enough to subscribe for.
The thing is, though, what I don't understand is surely if it is going to be a good expansion, like through word of mouth, and like, oh yeah, this is a really good expansion, then people will just pick it up. So I'm not a World of Warcraft player myself, but like going from JonTron's video and like you seem to buy like every single expansion, I presume, like just to see how good it is. Like, you have an investment into the game.
Not necessarily. I kind of got Draenor because it was like dirt cheap.
Right.
They changed how they modelled the expansion, so the starter pack for World of Warcraft now gives you all the expansions up to like Pandaria.
Okay.
I already owned Pandaria because I came back. I usually come back for like a couple of months, and if I think the expansion's good, then I'll keep playing. Because I started playing in vanilla, stopped playing for a while, and then I played Wrath of the Lich King for a really long time. That was my favourite expansion. And then I quit in Cataclysm because is probably one of my least favourite expansions for PvP, especially at the beginning. They destroyed Retri Paladin. Shaman and Warrior were absolutely broken. They kept giving Warrior self-heals. For the love of God, stop giving Warriors self-heals for like 15% of their maximum health.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. And then I came out, I saw Panda. I thought Pandaria was a joke at first, some sort of twisted joke that Blizzard had come out to try and appeal to the Chinese market. But no, they actually turned the joke race from Warcraft 3 into a real expansion with real lore. Thought it was ridiculous. I know a lot of people like Pandaria actually, but I just couldn't get over the pandas. I fucking hate them so much. I got to max level and I couldn't be bothered to do anything.
But I think that's honestly
I heard the raiding and dungeons were good.
I think that's what people do though. It's like if you look at the stats as well, like people buy the new expansion, play for a bit, they resubscribe their subscription, and then they play it for a bit until they think it's boring. And with Draenor, it dropped off a lot quicker than the other expansions. Draenor.
Well, they just drought. No, I said Droughtnor because there was a content drought.
Oh, I see. You're gonna call it Droughtnor.
Content drought for months.
Are you corning that?
When did they release? Yeah, I'm corning Droughtnor. Because when did they release Tanan Jungle? Like the fucking daily farming place. It was like 6.2 was the patch where they finally added something, and it was like, oh, okay, this is pretty fun for a little bit, and then they just like, right, that's it. We've given you all your content for the expansion. Now just wait another year until Legion comes out, and it's like, there's no point to play this game. There is like 0 point to play this game. Like, the raids were really easy. You could just get into them with fucking Raid Finder. Like, I did the last... I had 0 gear for the game. I just got like a level 100, and I just went in a random pug for Hellfire. I think it's called Hellfire Citadel, the final boss, where you go against Archimond, is it? I did the final raid as soon as I hit 100, and I completed it just like instantly with a random group of people. It wasn't hard at all.
Yeah.
Like, it was really easy. And it was like, oh, okay. What do I do now?
It's not what you expect from a raid at all, is it? You want it to be that hard thing that you have to practice for in a way, don't you?
I want it to be like Ice Crown Citadel.
Yeah.
That's what I want. But Blizzard's been slowly making the game easier and easier for hardcore players, and making it more tuned towards the casual players, and I have
But
no
I
idea
don't understand why they can't just have like 2 separate parts, like stuff for the casual and stuff for the hardcore. Like, why can you not appease both? Why does all the content have to be for the casual? Why not have like really hard raids?
So what they've been doing is they've been making it so that the bosses have like more and more health, but they have less mechanics.
Yeah. That's what makes a boss, though, really, isn't it? It's the complex mechanics and the different stages.
The mechanics are the fun thing.
Yeah.
You just turn them into giant sponges of damage.
Do you remember what they're doing? Do you remember a game called Spore? That shitty creature game?
Yeah, I played that.
Do you know of the expansion for it called like Galactic Adventures, where you like make your own
world? I
world?
played that actually. Yeah, that was awful.
But you could like I messed around with it for a bit, and like, you could make like a really big boss. Like, you just like click a creature, then scale it up. That's literally all they're really doing with their boss at this point, isn't it? They're just scaling it up to have like huge health, but it does exactly the same thing as the smaller variant.
I don't know if you needed to go off on a tangent about Spore.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if anyone needs to mention Spore anymore. I mean, the funnest part of Spore was the first part, where you just went around playing fucking Fishing Frenzy, where you ate bigger fish until you became big enough to go on.
It's Spore for me is a really... I'll just go off tangent for a little bit. I won't drag out for too long. But for me, like, if you looked at something like, I think 2006 E3, is like, that game looked better than the one that came out. And that just really annoyed me. Like, Will Wright didn't have the creative freedom he needed. That's all I really have to say on that.
But back onto WoW, what they've been doing slowly over the years, they've made bosses and stuff easier, and they've shifted more towards their casual fans. So whereas in the past you'd have to farm something for hours, so people who had hours and hours to put it into the game would be able to unlock these things. They've shifted more towards like a time lockout system, where it's like, oh, you want to build something in your garrison, log off for a day and come back, and it's like, yeah, this is really user-friendly for casual fans, but these aren't the people who are playing your game. No one's logging on to WoW like once a week to go into their garrisons, move around a couple of things, build some buildings, and then log off. Like, maybe a small percentage of your player base is doing that, but the real hardcore meaty part of your game really just wants to get back to how hard WoW used to be. Like, I died so many times playing Nostalrius, it wasn't even like... It wasn't funny how many times I died. I had a lot of fun, and it was quite fun because you had to go around in a group. I found it was way more social in WoW than it's ever been, because I actually had to go, oh, can you help me? And you start making these small groups of friends where you kind of have to use other people, because you can't do it by yourself. You have to get their help with quests, and you have to get a bigger group for dungeons. And then this goes on to even bigger group for a raid. And I know what they called. I actually love this YouTube channel. Extra Credit did a video on the social learning curve of an MMO, and it's really good if you get the chance. Watch that out on how as you progress through the game, you learn to be more and more social, and you need those skills to be able to actually complete a lot of the content, and it's really fun. But yeah, that's how WoW used to be. It used to be fun. There used to be things to do. Used to be rewarded for putting time into the game instead of just going AFK in a garrison.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know
just
why
really
I did
pissed
that.
off. I was just really pissed off they didn't just buy out the people who were developing Nostalrius and make their own private servers. At this point, I just want to know what Blizzard is doing. Tell us if you're making your own private servers, because people will pay for that. If you're not, go fuck yourself. I have such a long history with Blizzard, and this would really annoy me because I put so much time into a lot of their games.
The thing I said before the podcast as well was why couldn't they just make it so you have to have a subscription to be able to use these private servers? Because then surely they're not losing any money then. Like they shouldn't have any problem whatsoever. In fact, if anything, these private servers would give them money.
I think if they had a single subscription to the new expansion and the private expansion, they can make a lot of money that way.
Yeah.
Because people would be more likely to just buy it for the vanilla server, and then go, actually, well, I've got a pass for the new expansion that's coming out. Why don't I try that? And if Legion's good, people will play it.
But why couldn't they integrate that with already existing private servers? Or is that? I don't understand. I just feel like that would be so much better for everyone. Everyone would win.
I don't think you could integrate that into already existing private servers. I think you would need one private server. It wouldn't be possible to
maybe
get it done. A lot of them don't want to stop making money. Kind of. A lot of them have online stores, and they have where you can buy upgrades and stuff, and that's not what the core experience of World of Warcraft's about. I think you just need Nostalrius, and you can have it. I think you just get Nostalrius. You have it set so it's a progressing server. So you have the initial expansion. You add the raids, and then you go on to the Burning Crusade, and people play Burning Crusade, and then they play Wrath of the Lich King, and people would really enjoy it because that's what Nostalrius was going to do. Nostalrius wasn't a pure vanilla server. I know me and my friend went on there because we were gearing up for the Burning Crusade. We were like, we're gonna get our gear at level 60, so we're ready for the next expansion when Nostalrius comes onto that, and that was really exciting for us.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
We got to experience that stuff again.
Yeah,
and we found that really fun. But for me personally, because when I originally played vanilla WoW, I only got to level 12, so I never got to actually experience the high end stuff, and there's no real point to farming the high end stuff in the new expansions because all you're doing there is just doing it for transmogs, which isn't that fun because you just run around one-shotting it. There isn't that many real mechanics. I went back and I did Blackrock Mountain for transmogs, and some of the mechanics for that are really fun, and I was like, wow, if I was actually the right level for this and there was active people doing this would be really fun. But yeah, I think I've said all I'm going to say about this. Blizzard, listen to your fans.
Yeah,
for fuck's sake.
Please.
I know. Blizzard, please.
Please. Yeah.
I would like you to support vanilla progressive servers. Get the Nostalrius team on your side. You could win so much faith back by instead of suing Nostalrius, get out the carrot, bring them onto your team. That's what a good company like Valve always did. When they saw a modding team making a mod of their game that had a lot of interest, they got that team and they said, great, come work for us. And that's been hugely successful. You cannot understate how successful Valve has been from buying out modders of their own games. Some of the biggest games in the world are mods now these days, thanks to Valve. So I think they just need to get their act together and stop the silent treatment and tell us what's going on. But we'll move on to the next topic, which is my favourite living meme of a games company, Digital Homicide. So recently, Digital Homicide have been caught asset flipping their own game into another game. They've asset flipped an asset flip.
It's impressive.
And
asset flipception is quite impressive.
And as well, they were recently trying to sue Jim Sterling.
Yeah.
For some reason. I don't know where they have the legal ground to sell Jim Sterling. Toby, is this memes?
I think it's the next stage up from a living meme. I think we've transcended to the next dimension of living meme. It's a whole company of living memes. I don't understand. So they had like a Patreon or something, didn't they, for like to sue Jim Sterling?
Hmm.
I don't know if they hit their goal. I don't know if the money would have helped, or I don't know. I don't even know what the claims like. What could you actually claim? Like, what was Jim doing? Like decreasing their revenue, like by doing something legal?
Defamation, is that he?
Yeah. But what he really ever did was just show videos of their game, playing it, and he going, I don't like it. It's an asset flip. Well, which part was factually incorrect? I don't see how they could honestly think they could win. Or maybe they just weren't going to use the money to sue them in the first place. Maybe just gain more money. Because their company still seems to exist off of these asset flips.
Thing is, though, the only way they could sue for defamation would be if Jim was saying anything false about the company. Everything he says is 100% true. Your games are complete garbage. He's giving opinions on them, which aren't facts.
Yeah, you can't.
So you can't sue him for that.
No.
And he's a game journalist. He has the ground to talk about any game he damn well pleases. If you choose to give him review code for your shitty asset flips or not, he can just go into the Steam page and buy it for himself. You can't censor someone like that.
But you can't just choose someone because they're big. Like, that's like, oh well, you have to ban all of the reviews, like on the Steam page itself, like the user reviews. Like, you're gonna ban them? You're gonna sue all of them?
Do you know they want they want 10 million for damages?
Yeah, that is hilarious.
So direct damage is 2.26 million.
Direct,
because I know. Yeah, this is the direct damage that's been caused by Jim. He's stolen 2 million.
He stole 2
digital
million.
Homicide.
He's stolen it
by his lies and his reviews. 4.3 million is emotional and financial distress.
No, I don't understand how.
4.3 million for being butthurt. And 5 million in punitive damage requests.
Okay. What's the emotional coming from? Like, what are they paying for? Like expensive psychiatrists because of getting beaten by the living god Jim Sterling?
So they did have a crowdfunding support to support them in suing Jim Sterling, but they did take it down. And their quote was, "Due to harassers donating amounts specifically to cause charges rather than donations and charge back to cause financial issues, we will be seeking another avenue for donations." That's pretty funny.
Oh god, Digital Homicide. I think you're right. They're my favourite meme. They're not a real games company. They're just a meme.
Their favourite memes. Well, they're kind of. I think they've taken Peter Molyneux's spot in recent years, man. Living video game developer meme.
Yeah, but at least Peter has some integrity. He knows he wants to do something. He wants to change the world. I think Digital Homicide just wants money through like backdoor dealings. Like the minimum amount of effort for the maximum amount of gain.
I don't agree with what you said about Pete and there. I think
You say he's got no integrity.
I don't think Peter has any integrity anymore.
Okay. He might have done once, but he lost it to the devil.
I don't see how they earn money at this point.
No.
If they've got so much bad review, I think people are generally just buying their games out of pure to mock them.
Wasn't it?
Because this game is so bad, let's play it.
Wasn't the game going through the green light though? Did they get, or did they just go straight through?
How they're still getting through green light, because recently someone made paint drying the game.
Yeah.
And I know Jim reviewed it, and it got taken down because it was basically a protest on the Steam Greenlight process on how easy it is to get your game on Steam.
Valve use it to Valve used it to like make sure they could get rid of these backdoor problems and make it more not secure, but harder for scams to get through. Hopefully, in near future, that will help. It wouldn't help Digital Homicide, but help the consumer.
All right, news just in. As we're recording this,
We've got a news flash.
Yeah, ex-World of Warcraft dev Mark Kern, who's very outspoken on Twitter about the shutdown of the Nostalrius server, said he will take the vanilla server petition that was put up by fans to Mike Mahame, who is the developer for World of Warcraft at the moment. So if this goes through, we could see some real backlash from the community against Blizzard. They're really going to have to comment on this now. But going back to Digital Homicide, my favourite games company.
Yeah, living meme status.
Toby, what do you think about Digital Homicide asset flipping their own game?
Oh, back to the original opening to this topic.
Yeah.
Didn't they go so far as like they forgot to change like what the window would be called? So it's like
so if you ran it on windowed
game
mode, it seemed like they never thought anyone would run it in windowed mode, but the title of the game they asset flipped came up instead of the new title of the game.
Yeah. Just so incredibly bad. Like,
I think. Go on.
Okay, I'm not a game designer. I don't know much about game designing, but I'm pretty sure if you were legitimately trying to make a new game based on something, you would still start from scratch, pretty much, like with some like templates and things. You wouldn't just take a game and copy and paste it, then try and change it. I don't think they're a legitimate games company whatsoever, like at all. They're just scam artists. Well,
that being said, I think the Modern Warfare 3 window had Modern Warfare 2 on it as well. They were caught doing that.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me that Call of Duty has just based their next game off the previous one and changed it slightly.
I think about Call of Duty is like, the most recent one. It's actually pretty good. Like I've seen people play that, and like guns like sound good, look good. Like they feel quite powerful. Like maybe still bullet spongy a little bit, but there is always hardcore mode. And I think they've actually changed it to make it more interesting again. Like the graphics seem to be good as well.
Yeah.
This is another mini tangent. We like our mini tangents. So.
We love tangerines.
Tangerines.
They're my favourite.
But Digital Homicide just takes this to a whole new level, I think. Asset flipping and asset flip.
Right. So I know we give a lot of hate to Peter Molyneux on this show. I may be called a Peter Molyneux hater.
Yeah, we have been called that in the past.
But I actually love Peter Molyneux for how amazingly consistent he is at fucking up.
Yeah.
He's my favourite villain in the game development world, but I think his crown may be taken by Digital Homicide. They're slowly...
You think?
They're slowly becoming the next Peter Molyneux. I mean, they don't...
I don't know, because I think Peter Molyneux is at least still a game developer. I don't think Digital Homicide's a real game developer.
He's a person and a public figure, but I have no idea who's behind Digital Homicide, I'm going to be honest. Like, who are these people?
No.
Peter comes out and he gives it his all, and we know who Peter is. We know he's going to make terrible black and white knockoffs and try and charge people too much money for these social experiences, but... Digital Homicide is just underhanded with their tactics of selling their own asset flips. Jesus Christ.
Just selling non-games.
If you're buying Digital Homicide games for a joke, don't give them money. Just ignore them.
Please stop. Just watch videos. Just watch Jim Sterling play it. Just don't buy it yourself.
One thing we can talk about off this topic, the Steam Greenlight. Do you think it needs to be fixed?
Yeah. I think it definitely needs to be fixed.
If a game that's called paint drying can get through and have to be taken down after embarrassingly a video is made about it.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with
But
the process.
from this game though, like they should be taking like steps to try and improve it. I don't know what these steps are or when they're going to be implemented. But...
Initially, when they had Steam Greenlight up, they actually had to add I think it's around £100 fee to put a game up on there, and because people were putting any game up there, people were like Minecraft on Steam, Greenlight this, like stuff they didn't own the intellectual properties to, so they had to put that up. How is Digital Homicide putting up these games for like £100 fees and then making profit off them?
I think they're honestly making some sort of money. Like the company is still going. Like, and surely you have to like pay fees.
I don't know, Toby.
Your
they need that
$5
million for emotional distress.
Yeah, and they need $5 million for that new chair in their office. But I don't know. I don't actually understand how they're doing it. Like, I mean, congratulations for like being a great business, I guess, for actually being able to stay above in these traumatic times within the some sort of recession, whether what country you're in, and still make profit from absolute shit.
Well, I think we want to get rid of Digital Homicide, but we also want Steam to change the Greenlight process, because if they don't, we're just going to get another Digital Homicide come along.
I think like technically last week, yeah, but last week we were talking about like how like Steam has no like customer support or anything. Like I think this is kind of tied to Valve's problem. It's like they don't have anyone could they not just like go through every single game and go, yeah, this is allowed if you want Greenlight. Like they can't. It's like, I don't want like a really in-depth process. I just want like a basic fact checking.
If they don't have the customer support staff, they're not going to have staff for that. I don't know.
But I just feel like that to me is the ultimate way you could probably fix Greenlight. It's just like have some sort of human being at the other end go, yes, this is allowed to be on Greenlight, and
the thing about Valve is
give a reason why not.
They're very secret and inclusive. They don't want to hire a lot of people outside of Valve to come in and see things they're not supposed to see, because they know a lot of this stuff will get leaked. They play their cards very close to their chest.
But why not just have like a separate company like they do for like other developers,
like a subsidiary that just deals with customer support and quality checking of Greenlight?
So I know they have like a flat hierarchy inside their offices.
Well, like most good ideas, Toby, it's never gonna fucking happen, is it? Like, we're never gonna get a subsidiary of YouTube which checks if copyright strikes are actually legit. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's a great idea, but it's never gonna work, I don't think, unless somebody really puts their foot down.
Just goes to show, H.G. Wells was correct. Robots are taking over the world in the worst way possible through customer support.
Yeah, I find a large topic of this podcast is we're getting fucked over by huge companies and there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
I think the thing we have to do is keep being vocal about how just annoyed we are. Because that was the big thing for Skyrim.
If you're not vocal, you're already going to lose. Like, so you might as well attempt it.
Because as soon as Valve was like, we're adding paid mods to Skyrim, I was like emailing Valve, I was making videos, I was really annoyed at that. The more vocal you are, the easier it is for you to be heard, the harder it is for them to ignore you. So if this sort of stuff pisses you off, you think Valve's really fucked up with Steam Greenlight, send them emails. Because they do read. I know Gabe Newell reads every single email he gets. Send one to him. Because he's notorious for, while he's waiting in queues for things, he reads every single email and he replies to them. If you don't like something on Steam, email him. He will read it. Yeah. So that was...
You must get inundated with emails, though.
Yeah, but he reads them slowly over time. It may take... It'll probably take a while to get a response, but... I think it's pretty cool that the owner of the company actually reads emails from fans and responds to them. I know our friend Irvin's actually sent him an email once and he got a response from him. So I can personally attest to his sending emails back to people who email him. But we'll move on to the final topic. Oh, Toby's favourite topic, the do people still want to play RTS, real-time strategies? The answer is no.
Yes.
But
the answer is yes. It's me. That's the answer.
The topic I put with this is Warcraft Armies of Azeroth mod for StarCraft 2. So basically what happened was they got StarCraft 2, which is a hugely popular RTS. I think it's one of the biggest ones right now.
I think so, yeah.
That's another Blizzard game, so you know who's running this sort of stuff. But one of my personal favourite RTSs, the only one I've really enjoyed, Warcraft 3, it was remade in StarCraft 2. And I know a lot of people really wanted this, and a lot of people really want Warcraft 4 as a game. And recently as well, Blizzard were supporting their old games, like they updated Warcraft 3 and Diablo 2, and a lot of people really wanted them to push the ownership of Warcraft 3 and Diablo 2 onto the Battle.net launcher, and have like support servers for like Warcraft 3 so people could go in the old Battle.net and play on it. So what do you think about this? Do you think that supporting old RTSs and bringing them up to modern day standards is a good thing? Is there actual demand for real-time strategy, Toby?
I think there is a demand. Like, if anything, though, right? Say we don't know. Like, I think there is a demand, but let's just go with I have no clue whatsoever. Surely, like bringing these games up to date, like you could then get some sort of like inkling of like how many people actually play these games.
Right,
like,
but I think a lot of companies are very.
Yeah, but you're saying like the AAA have said like no one wants an RTS. Is pretty much what you're saying. The only argument I have with that is like it's like the age-old horror games are dead, and yet there's loads of them.
I don't think so anyone said horror games are dead though. Who said that?
No,
there's so many of them.
I'm saying the AAA game. The AAA publishers said this, like Capcom.
Okay.
All the old publishers that used to like.
But you don't see as many RTS games as you do as the horror games that you get clickbait into watching. Like.
The thing is, though, RTSs are like naturally quite more difficult to do. I think. Like there is actually an RTS on Steam that was made by one guy. I think I can't remember what it's called though. But it took him a while to make.
I think even though it wouldn't seem like it, I don't think RTSs are that particularly fun to watch unless you know a lot about them. Like, because I wouldn't watch StarCraft 2 unless I played the game extensively and knew what was happening. Whereas it's a lot easier to make a game on horror game. It's a lot to make gameplay on horror games. Cause you don't need to know anything going in. Like a lot more.
The thing is though, I've watched far more StarCraft 2 than I have played it, like by like a ridiculous margin.
Yes, but you are an RTS fan.
Yeah. But that's to me that's kind of like unless you're a MOBA fan, you're not really going to watch a League of Legends.
No, you wouldn't.
Tournament of things.
I'd 100% agree with that.
So maybe there isn't an audience anymore. Maybe StarCraft 2 is the only audience at the moment. Maybe
but League of Legends
is
one of the most watched esports in the world, and it is one of the most profitable esports in the world. So you definitely there is something there that RTSs aren't doing. I'm not sure what that is.
It is, to me, a MOBA is still some sort of RTS just where you control one unit.
100%, yeah. So I played Warcraft 3, the RTS, and I spent all of my time in the custom game. So I'd play Run Kitty Run, Uther Party, and then I played Defense of the Ancients. And what I found was I really hated controlling more than one unit. I couldn't do it, but I really loved... My favourite part was running around with a hero and going around killing creeps and then attacking the enemy's base. I thought, wow, that's really fun.
I think there's actually like a split. Like I think there's a split in the RTS. I'm not going to call it a community because I'm kind of like implying it's a community when there isn't one. But a community, an RTS player set. Like there's people like you that just want to control like one like a hero unit, like or one hero unit, like a few other units. And then there's the people from like who like play like I can't remember the name, but like it's the thing that Planetary Annihilation actually like is based upon. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head right now, but it's like Supreme Commander, I think. Like those sort of games where you just like you can like make like loads and loads and loads of units.
I don't know.
But it's like it's designed like you. It's all about macros. It's all about you just like producing lots of stuff and then just sending it. Not much about like micromanaging it. Whereas you like the micromanaging of just one unit.
Yeah, I found that there's still a lot of strategy in the MOBA games.
Yeah, definitely.
And I
But to me, it's still a strategy game to me. It's still an RTS.
What, a MOBA?
Yeah, like in not all of them, but most of them, the popular ones are still RTSs to me.
But there's no construction.
I don't think all RTSs require construction. That's just like how they used to be.
Don't most modern RTSs have construction though? As a baseline?
The thing is that I would claim there's been a split like into like it's trying to split into like the new modern RTS and then the MOBAs. I think there have been some RTS where they've tried to get rid of the base building components, but there's still people who like that they didn't do as well because I think people who were still playing RTS still liked the old base building components. Like they were trying to go, oh well, people like MOBAs, we can just remove that section. But I think people still like the old RTS though. I think there is still like a demand for it.
So, one of the game modes on Warcraft 3 that was a custom game mode was called Footmen. So this is kind of similar to what you were talking about, where you would literally have one base and it would keep spawning one.
Yeah.
It would spawn a single unit every couple of seconds. And you wouldn't build anything. You'd just keep building an army up, and then you literally went into the middle and you fought. And there was no building involved. It was just army spawn, and you use them and your hero to fight. And I found that quite fun. Like when you take away the building aspect, and all you did was control one big army of units, and you kind of had this big mishmash in the middle. That was quite fun.
I will say this as well. Like I know that the Age of Empires 2 community is still at large, like for the most part. It's still pretty big.
Is it on the HD version?
I believe so. I think they had like a new expansion for it a few months ago, didn't they?
Okay.
Like a water expansion. But yeah, it's still going. Like I think there's still this RTS community in some way. I'm not sure about how Planetary Nation is doing. I've never really a part of the community for it. I don't really know what's going on with it. I just play it every now and again. I just wished it was so much more than it actually was. It could have been really good.
Well, you're someone who doesn't read Reddit. So if I was playing StarCraft, I'd probably go onto our StarCraft, and I would there'd probably be a big community of people who enjoy the game and use the game. Because I know there's big communities on like r/League of Legends or r/Dota or like r/Hearthstone even. Like, I think there is communities if you know where to look, and that can really help you keep up to date with these sort of things. But I think whereas a casual player may go onto these subreddits for like a MOBA or a Hearthstone subreddit, but I think at this current point, like an RTS subreddit is going to be mainly hardcore fans. These are people who've played RTSs for years, and these are hardcore players. Yeah, they wouldn't be a casual RTS player that would come on and go, I might try this and see what it's like.
There hasn't really been like a big RTS which has like captured everyone's imagination, like on Steam.
Blizzard, release Warcraft 4.
Yeah, Blizz+, please do more stuff.
If Blizzard went and released another RTS, it would be so big.
I think Warcraft 4 would be so good. Like, I would play the hell out of that game. I don't think I've ever really played Warcraft 3 properly, so I would really want to play Warcraft 4.
I'd get Warcraft 4. I'd probably play through the campaign because those are generally fun. There's a lot of story in them, and then
they're really Blizzard RTS campaigns are really good. Yeah.
Yeah, because they always did the best cutscenes. Because I remember playing Warcraft 3 back in like 2004, and I looked at the cutscene and was like, "Whoa, that's the best cutscene I've ever seen." Yeah. This was back with like PS1, PS2 graphics, and everyone looked like blocks. And then it was like a Blizzard cinematic, and it was like these full 3D rendered characters were like destroying cities. It was like, oh my god, this looks so awesome. Like they used to be,
Yeah.
they've always been really good at creating stories and cinematics, and they really need to get back to their roots because recently, their games have been more geared towards gameplay. I'd say. I feel like
Yeah.
there's less and less story to them. I know that they're trying to push this Overwatch story, but I think that one's more focused towards gameplay. I know you didn't really
doesn't
like
seem like
the
a real arcing story.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on in the Overwatch universe, to be honest. And I think that's okay. I think that game is kind of just...
That's fine,
It's kind of like a MOBA, where you don't need a
It's
story.
It's like
you can just go in
it's like
and
the
fight
backstories, quote unquote, for League of Legends. Like, it's not really a backstory. It's just a reason why they're in
people.
the game.
Well, they removed the lore of League of Legends, so...
Oh, really?
So the original lore for League of Legends was that there was these summoners, and they controlled the hero that you were using. So you were the summoner, and that's why you had summoner spells that you could use to control your character. Right. But at one point they were just like, actually having summoners in the lore is problematic to champion design. We're just going to remove them from the lore. They no longer exist.
Okay.
So the actual game League of Legends had nothing to do with the lore of League of Legends anymore. They kind of just separated the two, which probably in the long run made sense. It kind of meant that you could have these people who could destroy planets going against like some guy with a sword. It made a lot more sense to have it like that. But
it's just a fun game.
Yeah.
Makes sense. It makes sense with MOBAs.
Going back to RTSs, I personally don't think there's a real demand from the general populace to warrant another RTS original IP unless you're coming back with a huge franchise. Unless you're making another Warhammer game, unless you're making a new Age of Empires game, unless you're making a Warcraft 4, I don't think there'll be a lot of interest. I know they talked about this.
And other than the hardcore community.
Yeah,
no, I don't think
so the hardcore community will definitely play it. But I know they were talking about this on the, I'm going to call it the Game Station podcast, the Polaris podcast, because I always remember it as the Game Station podcast. I don't know why they changed the name. I liked it. But they were talking about how there wasn't... people didn't really play RTSs anymore because of the skill requirement had gone really high up. So back when you played RTSs, 10 years ago, you could just play against your friends. There wasn't that high-speed internet. So it was more like LAN. You plugged it into your friend's computer, and you were kind of just playing against your friends, and that was fun. But then, especially with stuff like StarCraft 2, it got a lot more competitive, and it was like, actually, I'm not good at this game. Like, there's these Korean people who are playing on this high-speed internet that I can play against, and they're completely destroying me. And then the minimum requirement to be able to play the game even slightly competitively went hugely up, because the higher the competition got, the higher the requirement got, and it made it more cutthroat.
Much like MOBAs, like both RTS and MOBAs have like one thing in common, where like if you play it, you feel like you want to be the best, like you want to become like the grandmaster, don't you? Like there's no I'll just play it for fun. Like you get invested in the game you're playing. You want to be good.
Some people will claim they're playing it for fun, but that means they're not good at the game. So, yeah.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah. Just play for fun.
That's generally what I do in games anyway. I realize I have too many games that I'm never going to be good at any of them, like compared to some other people. And so, in the end, I just want to have fun.
That's one thing. I find it hard to bring myself to play Rocket League anymore because I know I won't be good at that game. Like I played it so much, and I found it so hard to actually have control over my own car. It's a really fun game, but I have the mindset where if I can't be good enough that I can compete with people that are really good at the game, I just don't really want to play it.
I think that's most people though, isn't it? It's like people need to win to be able to have fun. Like when they're losing,
I value
I don't mind losing.
I value winning more than a fun gameplay experience in a lot of these highly competitive games.
And I'm definitely the opposite. Like if you just give me fun gameplay and it's not annoying when you die, I could just keep playing it for ages.
You like more creative games though. You more like
that is also
building
true.
Games, sort of your sandbox games. Where I'm more like highly competitive MOBAs. card games, that sort of stuff. My
Your
screensavers come
your Doom
on.
clones.
GG. There we go. If only you could see my screen, you would have seen a massive black screen and be like, "Oh no, Joe's dead." No, I'm still here, still kicking.
Joe's died.
Well, when you hear this black box in 2017 of my death live on the podcast, you'll know
R.I.P.
what really happened. So, conclusions, Toby. RTS is the hardcore fan base is still there. We need a big one out.
Yeah, that's what I want. Blizzard, get on that.
Blizzard, stop fucking people over with lawyers and build a fucking game, you degenerates.
Yeah,
right.
Please.
Right, we've got on to everyone's favourite part of the show, and it's extra special this week, Toby. I hope you're ready, because it's not Toby's wish list.
I'm ready.
It's Joe's wish list.
It's not. It's your wish list.
We're looking at my wish list this week, so I am very cautious of what I actually put on my wish list. So.
It's funny. It's like as soon as you're like, oh yeah, we're going to talk about your wish list. Oh, what do I put on there? I need to think. What could they click? Okay, Joe. I'm going to go for one that I sort of know straight up. I don't know if you want to. Then we go straight into it, or do you want to say something?
Yeah. Just pick one and look it up.
Okay. All right. I sort of know this game, but I still don't understand. I don't get it. So I'm going to ask you, Joe. Why is salt on your wish list?
Right. So
and I am just before we start. It is on my wish list only because you told me to add it to my wish list. So why is it on my wish list, Joe?
I'm gonna be honest here. Do you want to read out the description?
Yeah, this is a description. If I could speak, of course. Salt is a procedure-generated open-world exploration game with RPG and survival elements. After waking up on an island, build a boat and sail across the ocean. Explore countless islands, fight pirates and bosses, loot rare armor and weapons, hunt and fish, and take on daring quests.
Right, I'm gonna be honest right now. I did install the game just because it had the name Salt. And I thought it was funny to just invite people to play Salt with me when I played the demo.
So, is that the only reason? There's no. It has very positive reviews on Steam.
So I did play the demo and I found it okay. It was kind of confusing how I actually crafted stuff. I think it was maybe more like a Space Engineers game where you kind of have to look up this stuff, look up tutorials on how to do stuff.
Okay.
But the concept of being a pirate on a island and building a ship and stuff was actually quite interesting. I only put it on here because it had the name Salt, but actually the more I look at it and the more I played of it, I was like, actually, this is quite interesting. Because I'm a Salt guy.
I remember you sent me like a when it first came out and didn't have like a proper trailer, so you sent me like some guys playing it, and I was like, I watched it, and I had still no idea what was going on, or what was funny, or what was good about the game.
It was it's a survival sandbox game sort of thing, so I thought you'd be interested in it.
I think you said to me going, you can be a pirate basbasically.
Oh
with
yeah,
your friends.
I was like, this is a pirate simulator. You might be interested in this.
I don't see the appeal yet. I'm looking at the trailer, the imagery. I mean, it's an alright art style. It's a good art direction, I guess.
The thing is, though, you can't be like, oh, I wouldn't put this on my wish list. This game's already on your wish list, Davey.
Because you told me to.
Do you not think you would want it on your wish list? Are you going to remove it from your wish list?
Well, I've said an early access, I guess. So I'll keep it there to just keep track of it.
If it's an early access, it's got partial controller support, Toby. My favourite feature. There's no Steam trading cards as well. What a shame.
The greatest of all features, Steam trading cards.
Right, do you want to pick a game that you don't also have on your wish list to see what you think about it? Because the top half of my wish list is pretty well organised. I have my favourite game up there, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants in Manhattan, the most anticipated game. it just looks pretty good. And then No Man's Sky shortly afterwards is my most anticipated game of the year. But if you further down is where it kind of just isn't sorted at all. Or I've just added games willy-nilly.
What is this?
What's the name?
Hang on. I think I might have found something.
Okay.
Let's make sure it's not on my wish list though.
Okay. Just don't pick a game that I've already picked out of yours and said, what is this? Because sometimes...
Okay, I'm not interested in this. Nuclear Throne.
Oh, okay.
Why is this on your wish list?
It's without even looking at it, it's a roguelite, isn't it?
Sort of, I think. I mean, it's got overwhelmingly positive reviews. It's a roguelike indie action difficult bullet hell game.
Yeah.
It just looks a bit weird to me though.
So I'm a huge fan of roguelike games. So I'll read the description quickly. Nuclear Throne is a post-apocalyptic rogue-like top-down shooter, not the final hope of humanity. Post-apocalyptic, but humanity is extinct and mutants and monsters now roam the earth. Post-apocalyptic, fight your way through the wastelands with powerful weaponry, collecting radiation too, and that's where the description ends. So, that description finished a bit abruptly. So it is a roguelike.
It's a full. It looks like it was in early access, but it's now been released.
Mhm. So I saw it as a roguelite, and I was kind of like, yeah, that's going on my wish list.
Is that it?
No, the gameplay does look really fun. I wasn't a big...
Does it?
Looking at the art style wasn't that interesting, but the gameplay, like the bullet hell aspect, where you're kind of running around doing things, it's very reminiscent of... well, I was going to say Enter the Gungeon, but that came out after it, I guess. It reminds me of Enter the Gungeon that I've played, and I think it's really good. So...
That looks like a good game, though. I don't know, maybe... Because they've kind of gone for like an old school like looking vibe for it as well, haven't they? They've gone for like an old like 8-bit, 16-bit game. Like a bullet.
Well, I like that sort of thing. I like the old 8-bit.
The gameplay doesn't look that great.
It looks hard, and I like hard roguelikes.
I'm not, but then again, I don't really understand like the appeal of bullet hells. Like, I can sort of see like, oh, it's difficult. You have to like dodge and then deal damage while you're dodging the bullets and things. But like, but that's just it. Like, that's all it is. It's like a pattern recognition game, and how quick you can move out of the way. It was
recommended by Jim Sterling, saying he played it over and over again. He found it really fun. Nuclear Throne is an abhorribly brutal shooter. So it's kind of like the masochist in me. I kind of like the roguelike games. I like the Super Meat Boys, the ridiculously hard games. I like trying to beat them. Like, I recently started playing Dark Souls. Gonna try and beat that. You know, I like these kind of games. These games where you can get fucked over a lot. And beating them.
Well, I for one like the idea of bullet hells, but then look at a game and go, it's just the same bullet hell as the other bullet hell. So I'm afraid, Joe, I'm gonna keep it as not interested.
How could you change in the bullet hell formula, Toby?
I don't know. Maybe it's just a problem with the genre. Maybe
you don't like bullet hell games.
Maybe that's the problem. I might have to go to my local psychiatrist to see what genres I do and do not like.
Your psychiatrist will tell you what genres of game you like. Well, I'm upset I couldn't sell you on that game, because that one was generally one I really wanted to play, so... That's upsetting.
I am sorry, but
full control support, Toby.
It is a no from me, I'm afraid.
Wow.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna double wish list it then to counteract you.
To counteract my not interested. Okay.
You want to pick another game?
Yeah. Let me just.
All right. So the games on my wish list.
What is this?
All right. What is it?
Right. You might have to explain yourself on this one. Right, okay, Joe. The fuck is the Amazing Spider-Man 2 doing on your wish list?
It's a good game.
What do you mean it's a good game?
It was actually a good game.
No, I. How is it a good game? Please explain to me how it was a good game.
So I was a big fan of the original Spider-Man games.
Yeah, 1 and 2.
On the
Pretty
PS2.
good.
They were really good, but I just like the.
They were.
Now you're not a superhero fan, Toby, or you're not a superhero.
I like Spider-Man though. Like Spider-Man makes sense to me.
So the concept of an open world superhero game for me is really fun. It's actually one of my favorite genres. And even if the game, game wasn't like, it wasn't like a Arkham City or something. It was just it was kind of generic,
but
open world Spider-Man game. That would be really fun for me.
But you could buy like Prototype 2.
I've finished Prototype 2.
You wanted Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Toby, I've finished a lot of these games. I'm coming down to the barrel.
You really have. You're at the bottom.
To be fair, my friend played it and he said it was pretty good. It was okay. It wasn't particularly bad.
I have seen many people on YouTube play it and it looked dreadful.
I'm not a fan of the new Spider-Man films. I thought those were awful, but the games didn't look that bad. They actually looked quite fun.
No, I'm gonna have to disagree with them that one. It did not look fun to me whatsoever. Like I wanted. The thing is that the old original Spider-Man 2 for PS2, not the
really good,
not the PC version, was really good, and I could still play it today.
Mm.
This though, I remember seeing videos on this, and I remember thinking this was.
Well, I have the first one on there as well, and that one's got like mostly positive reviews. Like,
what?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I mean, thinking about it now, though, there's not actually that many superhero open world games on the PC. They seem to all be on.
You know why I put it on there? It's because I put it on there, so I got an email from Steam when it went on sale, and it was like, this game's like £5, and then I'd buy it. It's not a game I'd put on my wish list and say I'm going to buy this for full price. It's a game that when it's dirt cheap, I'd pick it up because I generally have like, for a couple of quid, up to like £5,
well,
I would have a fun experience with this game.
I'm not going to lie, it's currently 75% off. So
yeah. So if anyone's out there looking for a Spider-Man open world game,
that has 6 pieces of DLC and is within the Amazing Spider-Man franchise pack, including 12 items for $13.74.
It's
75% off.
It's £7.50 at the moment. I think I'd pay £7.50 for it, honestly.
It's only $8.50 for the base game and all the DLC as well.
Mm.
Which is pretty good.
Let's say the single player experience is like 8 hours long. If it was a short game, £8 for 8 hours wouldn't be too much for me. I think that's a fair price. I wouldn't buy this game at full price, but I do think this one is on the wish list because it was a bargain bucket pickup for when it was on sale. Not for.
I will accept it to be on your wish list then. I accept its existence, but I am not adding it to my wish list.
Okay.
If anything, I'm gonna make not interested. I don't want anything about this. Get it off my Steam valve.
Well, I always pick platformers on yours, and you don't like platformers. And then you come on here and you pick genres you don't like.
I like open world games. I played Prototype.
You don't like
Prototype.
superheroes.
I liked Infamous.
Infamous was really good. I think that was probably one of the better open world games.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
I think as much as like at the time, like I was like, oh, Prototype 2's awful and Prototype 1's awful. It's like it's generally a good game. I don't think it's as good as Infamous, but it's still a good game.
I had a lot of fun with Prototype 1. I think that was the better game.
Spider-Man 2, the original Spider-Man 2. There's a lot of other Spider-Man.
I just love how funny it was. It was like you just run around. It's like your face ran into my fist. I think open world superhero games had a really bad track record. Like, you have like Superman 64, a lot of the early Batman games. A lot of the early Batman
game that was awful.
A lot of the earlier Batman games had him like running around with a gun, shooting people, and it's like, that's not what Batman does.
What? With the gun?
Yeah, it was really stupid, but I think superhero games are getting a lot better. Like, we've had the Batman Arkham games, we've had a lot of these prototypes, the Infamouses. I think the genres, there's some real gems in there if you look for it. I'm not saying Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the best example of these good superhero open world games, but there is a lot of good ones out there.
I think prototypes to to go for, but yeah, as you said, you've already completed these games, so I guess you skimmed from the top. You had the top of the milk, and now you're at the bottom, the bitty bottom.
Do you want to pick one more, or do you want to go to the end of the show?
I can pick one more for you.
Okay, we'll do that and then we'll end the show.
Okay. Alright, let's have a little gander. I'm actually going through it in like when you added it to your wish list. So.
Okay.
Now we're in mid 2015 at the moment. What is this?
I think I added the Amazing Spider-Man to my wish list on a sale as well.
Oh, I had something that might be easier for you to explain. It's called PID. P-I-D. It looks like a platformer.
P-I-D. Let's have a look at this. I don't remember this, so let me just look at the Steam page.
It's apparently a difficult platformer.
Do you want to read the description?
Nice Will you want me to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a short description. Challenging platformer with striking visuals and deep engrossing story transports you to a world beyond ours! Exclamation mark.
Yeah, so it's a platformer, adventure, difficult puzzle. I think I was going through my queue and I saw this. It generally looks like a good game. Solid art style.
I'm look at this actually. Yeah.
I really like the tough platformers like your Super Meat Boys and stuff, and
they actually got like interesting platforms as well. Though, and like it makes like the actual platforms make sense, like the background it's in, and like I assume the story of part of it as well.
It's kind of 2.5D, where you've kind of got
but it doesn't seem to have the problem that other 2.5Ds, like you know where the platform and like the background is.
So the background's kind of got more volume to it. It's more 3D, but your character's more 2D in a sense, and you kind of know where to go.
Yeah.
I kind of like this 2.5D sort of art style. It looks really
I'm looking
nice.
at these screenshots, and not one screenshot's like, I don't know where the platform is and where the background is. Like they all seem quite distinct, but match quite well with each other.
I'll be honest with you, I'd forgotten I had put this on my wish list, but looking back at it now, this looks really good.
Yeah.
Full controller support for a platformer, really important. I always play platformers with a controller, so having full controller support, 100%. I'm going to recommend my own game, looking at it now.
I think I'm going to add it to my wish list, Jay.
Wow. Toby loves platformers, confirmed.
I just want news just in though. My anime category on my Steam is now 3 games bigger than my platforming category.
No.
It's finally happened.
Cancel out the weeaboos.
The weeaboo in me is strong.
I need to convince you of some more platformers.
Yeah, we had one. Not that
long ago, Toby, Ori and the Blind Forest. I played that, really good. Buy it.
I don't own that game. I really want to have that.
I know Michael was raging at it before, so you know it's a good one.
always
right,
raging.
So that does it for this special edition of Toby's Wishlist called Joe's Wishlist. So we just look at my wishlist instead, the superior one, and final thoughts,
the
Toby,
smaller one,
before we stop.
Blizzard, please.
Fuck off.
Do good, please. And
Be
Peter,
good, Blizzard.
Tell Digital Homicide how to do it.
If Peter started a company called Molyneux Molyneux homicide. That would be so good.
Or Digital Peter.
Digital Peter. Yeah, that's the one.
That name of the this episode, Digital Peter. Nothing to do with Peter. Call it Digital Peter.
Yeah, so I have been Joe, aka Scorn. You can catch me on YouTube under Scorn. You can follow me on Twitter under Scorn2000. I'll post all my videos and the podcast on there. I just released a new video literally yesterday on April 16th.
It's a good video.
Of the games I played over the weekend, which I talked over briefly at the start of the podcast. So if you want more in depth on that, go check it out. But Tony, you've been Tony.
Yeah, I have.
And
goodbye.
that's the end of the podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
See you.